Japan has more than just anime. And Pending Train is a great show that I really enjoyed, which might not sound like it from my review I'm about to give. However, the show definitely does have issues and I will talk about them, but I did actually really enjoy this show and it is a show that I do recommend. So I just wanted to point that out before I start talking about it in case everyone's thinking that it's a really negative review. It's really not. I really did enjoy the show. There are going to be some small spoilers, but nothing really that majorly affects the show. So this review shouldn't really spoil anything. However, there are some small spoilers. So if you do want to finish the show or start watching the show, then this is the spoiler warning. However, I don't think anything I say really changes how you're going to experience this show. The series follows a group of passengers on a commute train who are suddenly transported into a post-apocalyptic future. The passengers must band together to survive in this harsh new world, whilst also trying to figure out what happened to them and how to get back to their own time. Pending Train is a well-made series that looks like it has a great production value. The acting is excellent and the special effects are very good. The series also does a very good job of balancing the action and the suspense with the character development, and also a lot of emotional drama. And it's this emotional drama where the first problem starts for me. Now, it's always a good thing to have emotional scenes in your shows, but it's also important to build up to them, and definitely not to have like 2 or 3 major ones every single episode, especially when it's a 10-part series, because then at this point they really do start to feel overused and not as impactful as they really hope to achieve. And then along the way, you're starting to feel like now this one is just starting to feel a little bit forced upon the audience. Like, here, feel emotion. Instead of having so many dramatic speeches to give everyone's emotional sob stories, they could just have spent more time building up the tension of the show. And then these emotional scenes would have had an even greater impact and a bigger payoff later on in the series. But whilst I'm here already talking about creating emotion in the show, something that can really help with this is the music. And the music in this show doesn't really fit with the visuals. There is literally a very dramatic scene where one of the characters is telling the other characters how much they like them, potentially even love them, and the other character talks about how they don't love them and how they've kind of forgotten about them already. And then the show's theme tune, which is this very sort of happy, upbeat song. And even if you like the song, I think it's a very good tune, that doesn't change the fact that the visuals and the music don't quite combine together to create this great emotional effect. It leaves you more thinking like, how am I meant to be feeling now? What exactly is happening? Instead of combining the two, like you often get in various animes where the music and visuals combine brilliantly. Unfortunately, the music here doesn't quite connect with the visuals that we are seeing. Where the series does shine is in its characters. We get a wide variety of different characters, from the charismatic bad boy hairdresser who starts off being outcasted by the others, and being outcasted is, something I know a lot about, to the brave firefighter who is ready to jump into the action, and he is a naturally born leader who is both compassionate and protecting. The female PE teacher who is often ignored by her students but is extremely caring, a rebellious girl who is always looking out for herself, to the high school couple who are crazily in love with each other. Having all these interesting characters is great, but with only 10 episodes, it's hard to give them all the screen time that they deserve. So many of these characters feel a little bit underused. Then there are the characters that just disappear from the show. Like 1 minute they're there, and then the next minute they're not. And as the series progresses, you're just kind of wondering, well, what happened to these guys? What's their fate? And this ends up leaving more questions than it does answers. And it's always strange when characters just randomly get written out of shows. Maybe there was an issue that I haven't read about, but it's not just one character like in Bloodline. Bloodhounds, sorry. It's not just one character that was written out because of the trouble she had in her personal life. This was several characters that just kind of disappeared from the show. So not all of them could have had major issues that could have been controversial to leave them in the show. They were just written out. However, Pending Train isn't trying to do anything unique with its premise. The idea of a group of people being transported into a post-apocalyptic future certainly isn't new. But Pending Train does a very good job of making it feel fresh and exciting, which is mostly done by keeping the script very natural. But then a few of the dramatic emotional scenes, the characters tend to act how you would expect them to. The series also does a very good job of exploring the psychological effects of being stranded in a world that has been completely destroyed. As the series goes on, the characters are forced to question everything about themselves, and whether or not this is their new life or if there is still hope for the future, or hope in getting back to their present and not for the future. So overall, Pending Train is a very well made and very entertaining series that's sure to appeal to fans who are like me, who like sci-fi, drama and survival thrillers. And it's definitely the survival thriller aspect that I loved most about this show. The threats to the characters come from their ability to survive, which is also different from saying there being deadly creatures stalking them at nighttime, or a group of other survivors who have been there for years taking advantage of them. It's their ability to survive this world that is the biggest threat to them. From modern cities where many of the basic survival techniques we just don't know anymore, especially if you're coming from a city, say like London, New York, Tokyo. It's like, how do you light a fire? Now, we've all seen TV shows and films where people are lighting fires, but can you actually do that if you was in this situation? Where do you get water from? What food is safe to eat? What berries, what mushrooms are edible? Can you farm and look after animals? These are the biggest threats to the characters, and it's very interesting to see how they cope with all of this. Being a Japanese show, the power of friendship is a major theme in this show, as well as the power of the human spirit. So this is a fun show which I think a lot of people will like, especially if you like shows like Lost, Alice in Borderlands, Under the Dome, or the recent show that I really love, From. They all kind of have similar premises of this mysterious place you don't quite know what's going on, and how do they survive here in this world. And if you like this show, then you'll probably like the other shows I've just mentioned. Now, this show isn't going to blow you away like some of those other shows, but it's definitely going to keep you entertained throughout the 10 episodes. But that's all I've got to say about this. I'm currently about to finish Blue Lock, and then I'm going to enjoy watching the last few episodes I have of that. I am done.